Well, folks, we're at the end of the road. After over 3 years, there's there's 7 if you include the time since the previous game on 3DS and Wii U. Oh, the last Sakurai Presents took place today. Hey, and true to his word, there are not gonna be any more bonus fighters. There's not gonna be a third pass. Yes, and even as he said it, this journey has definitely taken a lot of interesting twists and turns over the years. I mean, here's and that the series has gone over the past 2 decades of being merely like a crossover of all of our Nintendo characters, being something of a celebration of video games as a whole and what it can do. And naturally, this also means that at the final, well, fighter and sort of Mii Costumes, as well as like the future slate of amiibo, are being unveiled as well. So I'll address those here, and then ahead of like my formal thoughts on the last fighter in earlier this month. So here we go. Okay, so the last wave of Mii Costumes will also be coming alongside later this month, where they are from Splatoon series. There's the Octolame wig as well as like a Judd hat, so which makes sense with the third game coming next year and the first two still being very big hits. Hits mean, and this one is definitely a pretty big deconfirm. That the Doomslayer is going to be a Mii costume. Whom I don't feel as strongly about this, given how I'm not as big a Doom fan as I am with other id Software IPs. But honestly, it just made sense this way. I mean, it also is consistent with the ones for the Vault Boy from Fallout, and also other previous his characters. Being because I like I said before, or Bethesda owning Microsoft, being owned by Microsoft now, kind of complicated for the representation. Um, at, at least this means that now we can really make use of the Doomsday X Isabel memes as well. Yeah. And now comes the final fighter, which, if you count out each individual form as their own fighter, will mark the 89th and final fighter to join the fights. It's, I guess I might as well come out and say it, that Sora is finally here. I think it's a nice little bookend to the initial reveal here, where like the flaming Smash logo that has the first trailer in March 2018, he starts to go out, and the fighters become trophies. But before this happens, Mario grabs one of the embers, uses flame attack, and lights up again, and through the hole, out pops Sora. I mean, I guess this also means that Mushroom Kingdom Hearts, or its April Fool's joke that I read in EGM a long time ago, is now technically canon. And then, so I was under the impression that Disney vetoed this Pick and Heck earlier this year here, but whether or not that was like deliberately a misdirection to throw off speculation, or that Sakurai would not take no for an answer, her. But I think if I had to pick the reason in that has just been revealed that when Iwata was still around, rest his soul, that was apparently the most popular pick of the fighter ballot around the world, which, again, for Square Enix representation, I was kind of expecting in Chrono but again, I think this made the most sense. I mean, and had the most appeal to both Japanese and Western players. I mean, factoring in from both Europe and the US. I mean, as in, I'm actually kind of glad they're focusing on the Square Enix aspects of the franchise, especially given how the history between Disney and Nintendo is kind of checkered, given the Marvelous movie, how that turned out. That's the reason why the reboot's going to be animated, and the theme park is at the Rails at Universal as well, but getting ahead of myself. I am liking the stage, the selection of music, and also how they have outfits from the three main games, as well as variants, as well as the Dream Dragons and spin-off of main. This also coincides with another the tidbit that after much fan demand, and the main games also coming to Switch, I think the first two, as well as the many versions of them, are going to be native, whereas the third one is going to be like a cloud version again. And this actually makes more sense to push like this than the dongle, because as we break it down, cloud game is still much like VR, still pretty niche overall, and I don't know which direction it's going to take, but experimenting with individual titles like this and other ones, Control Ultimate Edition, does make sense to me. I mean, again, I'm not liberty to confirm or deny anything about future Switch models past the OLED, only that they're working on it, personally, so yeah. I also rather like how they're handling the spirits. Like, again, they're focusing on characters that Square Enix created rather than the Disney ones, given how there was this open up like a big can of worms with a mouse. Not just with their animated characters, but I can only imagine what would have happened if they had trying to finagle things like with Marvel, Lucasfilm, and now Fox as well. Oh, keep in mind, like in 2018 when this came out, like the merger was still being worked on, but just wasn't finalized until 2019. I don't think. And so, heck, they only just now how got back the rights to some of their other animated shows from other networks early on, but that's definitely something else entirely. So the fighter goes live on the 18th, which will be in just under a couple weeks. And with that in mind, I'll definitely be back in about 2 weeks to talk about how Sora, or after I've had a chance to play with him a bit, which will be the usual to run through him in Classic, as well as play a bit both on and offline. And so I definitely think I can see myself enjoying this character, and I'll definitely be sure to have my Kingdom Hearts shirt clean and washed before then, as well as to get other Master Sword out. I'm also thinking it's going to be, like, the scripted video is going to be taking a bit longer. I am still drafting my Cars review. I'm also working on ones for Ratatouille, as well as the other Pixar movies after that. I still know I want to finish with Coco, but just in case I don't make that goal, I have a backup in mind. So, and especially for the Day of the Dead, especially given I have my brother. But I also am still excited for like the animated spin-off of the Kingdom Hearts games on Disney Plus. Especially obviously I'd want Joel Osment to voice Sora yet again, and so And anyway, that's all I got to say for now. And I will definitely see you all in about a couple weeks with my thoughts on Sora and Smash. Yes, that'll be all for now. Take care, everyone.